The following program contains language that may be unsuitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Nine-tenths of our lives is well forgotten in the living. Of the part that is remembered, the most had better not be told. It would interest no one, or at least would not continue the story of what we ourselves have been. A thin thread of narrative remains, a few hundred pages about which clusters like rock candy the interest upon which the general reader will spend a few hours. A sweet-toothed child, preferring something richer, not so hard to the teeth. To us, however, such hours have been sweet. They constitute our particular treasure. That is all justly that we should offer. That was William Carlos Williams. This is the Inspired Word Cafe. Woo! Okay, so tonight, super rad show. I feel like I say that every week this year, but we've just had such great performers coming on the show. We have a local teacher here who's going to read some poems for us. She's recently been doing super well in the slams that we've been hosting. Just super sort of socially conscious work that I appreciate. Just not being afraid to sort of go into maybe some of these more difficult subject areas. But yeah, so without further ado, a warm IWC welcome for Trina Manca.
This is a poem called Girls Have It Harder Than Boys, and it's looking at how it's not easy to be a boy or a girl, but I think girls have it harder. Girls have it harder than boys. Boys have uncomfortable, embarrassing erections that come and go at random, and voices that creak and crack at the worst possible moment. Girls have breasts that swell over time, rising front and center, so eventually we come to wonder if our eyes permanently migrated south. Boys have wet dreams. Girls have their periods. Boys have priests and coaches and predatory babysitters. Girls have fathers, stepfathers, uncles, boyfriends, strangers, each eager for a piece of our pie. Pie served in silent terror because we're raised being told, be good, be quiet, be nice, be helpful, don't argue, don't scream, don't fight. Programmed to slice away at ourselves for the sake of others, told that our bodies are temples, but constantly shown that our bodies are objects for sale. The myriad names for our flowery bits and front bum become tinged with revulsion, violence, and sin. Meanwhile, guys are vested with strength by virtue of their penis and its ability to conquer, dominate, even plunder. Is it any wonder we have grown men proud their last tear fell at age 5, taking advantage of women who submit because they've been taught to fear their own strength? The next one's also a heavy one. It's called #raped not reported. Rape is real. Sexual assault is real. Yet acknowledging you're a survivor is rare. For girls, it's the fear of not being believed. You wanted it. You let him on. You started it. You weren't clear. You were both drunk. It's not what it sounds like. It's all a misunderstanding. It's the knowledge that you'll have to relive every detail publicly, and that your prior choices will be considered as evidence for or against your truth. You choose to stay silent, even though you know you aren't alone and that he'll do it again to someone else soon enough. For boys, it's the shame. You're a man. You're tough. Why didn't you beat them up? The fears of being demasculinized and pitied. You choose to stay silent. You believe you're alone. Drinking or fist-fighting away the pain, you stay caged to protect yourself from it happening again. I guarantee you know at least one person who lives this truth. Chances are you actually know more than a handful. It's all over the news, and yet it keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. We turn inward, blocking out the memories, bleeding out our shame, breathing in fault. Subtle victim blaming pervades our messaging. Girls, plan ahead. Use the buddy system. Cross your legs. Cover your drink. Dress appropriately. Don't drink too much. Have a friend walk you home. Avoid alleyways and dark streets. Boys, for each case brought forward, there are hundreds, potentially thousands of assaults that are unreported. So let's think about rape. Let's think about sexual assault. Let's confront our gray areas and prejudices. Let's listen to the truths and act. We must raise our children to respect and protect one another. And we must find the strength to own our truth. Then there can be hope. This one is brand new, and it actually starts off with an E.E. Cummings poem called In Just, and it's a really twisted look at springtime, I suppose, and then it launches into mine, so I hope E.E. Cummings wouldn't mind. In Just. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles, far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful. The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee, and Betty and Disbel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. In just a minute, I'll be right there, shout harried mothers, but by then the balloons are lost to the sky. Tiny outstretched hands and giant teardrops ask, why couldn't you have just tied the string to my wrist like a good mom would have? Injustice blasting us everywhere, rapists and clueless jerks decree, I just wanted her to smile. I just wanted her so bad. I just wanted her to stop talking. Brothers and mothers crying, he was just walking home. He was just driving to grab a carton of milk. He was just a kid. Sisters cautiously opining, I was just wondering if maybe, I just thought, is it possible he just, injust is all around us. Let us not forget the lessons of the goat-footed balloon man and the loss of innocence he brings. We need to be reminded of what is really happening in our world, so we'll be motivated to change it. But in just spring also means potential. Life is just breaking through again, verdant, eager, powerful. In just a breath, in just the blink of an eye, possibilities. This one has only been shared once before last night at an event I went to called Divas, and it's incredibly autobiographical and personal. It's called Body. 38 years old, brown hair, blue eyes, size 6, 5'4", 128 pounds, petite yet curvy. Huge butt, saggy boobs, pizza dough belly, stretch marks, cellulite, back fat. That strayed quickly, didn't it? Wow, why is it so hard to love our body as it is? It's been a long journey in this body. I've been small, I've been large, I've never been completely comfortable, let alone happy. Age 12, teeny Trina. She's small, confident, and strong. Age 13, getting a little chunky, Mom says. I hit 100 pounds and 5 feet. Age 14, I'm 110 pounds. Whoa, looks like Trina won't be on the track team this year. my former coach. Age 17, I'm 5'3" and 105 pounds. I buy a bikini and wear it at dry grad, but can't stop thinking about my fat stomach. Age 18, my first breakup. Food is love. Food is love. Age 19, I meet my husband. He doesn't seem to mind the freshman 15. Age 22, I'm a stressed out student teacher with $65,000 in debt. I'm 5'4", 180 pounds. I can no longer tell myself I'm rocking my curves. Age 23, failed diet, 178 pounds. Age 25, time to make babies. I diet and exercise on a carefully laid out plan. I pee on the stick at 132 pounds, full of pride and hope. Age 27, I'm in labor. I'm 175 pounds. Age 29, hard work. I'm 136 pounds. Age 30, I'm in labor again, 160 pounds. Age 32, really hard work. I'm 130 pounds. Age 34, 122 pounds. I ran a marathon. Age 36, 116 pounds. I've run 2 ultras and kicked butt at Tough Mudder twice. Age 37, I left my husband last year. I'm 127 pounds. Food is love. Food is love. Dear body, you've been through a lot. You don't have to be 110 pounds. Love yourself. Love your body. Seriously, love it. Embrace the curves and dimples and silvery stripes. Feed your body with kindness. Treat it with dignity and respect. Accept your body. Appreciate how it moves you through the world. Take the time to caress and be caressed. Quivers and quakes are bigger when you're grounded by love. You can do this. You are love. You are loved. You are love. Mom, I hope you aren't offended, but you did say this. So this one is something that it just stuck with me forever, and it'll kind of lead us into 2 of my last 3 poems. So it's called Words of Wisdom. Looking back with my hard-earned 20/20 hindsight, I see so many things I could have done differently. With my kids in tow, I have no regrets, but many wonders as to where other choices may have led. What if I'd studied abroad when I had the chance? Why did I take the well-trod path? I didn't have the courage to follow my dreams, choosing instead to try to achieve the proverbial ones. Words of wisdom proffered without request were received as gospel, internalized as truth. Mom, it's simple. After 5, you're a slut. Auntie, you only really know a man after you sleep with him. Nona, your first should be your forever. Granny, marry once, period. Chorus, treat others as you wish to be treated. I wasted decades believing their advice, and I was lost to myself by 20, guarding my vagina rather than my heart, living to serve everyone despite the cost to my soul, and wrapping myself in the bonds of marriage. How different would my life have been had I heard instead? Nona, maintain your independence. Don't feel guilty for loving your job. Auntie, experience what the world has to offer before you agree to marry. Granny, marriage is founded on ideals. Move on if you no longer make each other happy. Mom, you are strong, intelligent, and caring. Love yourself above all others. Chorus, to thine own self be true. Okay, this one's yin and yang, and it's about balance. As a young child, I was fascinated by the symbol of yin-yang, the idea of life having this perfect, beautiful balance calmed me. I can remember drawing countless black and white doodles in my notebooks, yin-yang, checkerboards, pinwheels, more yin-yang. I sketched away the many stresses of middle school by forcing the crazy colors of my life into a monochromatic stamp. It wasn't until I was 30 that I realized most of my problems were due to a lack of balance. I was always striving to do more, prove more, be more, never truly satisfied with who I was or what I was doing. The more I found roots, the more my wings felt clipped. I'd worked long and hard building a family, a home, a life for the four of us, striving to show my daughters that family is important and that roots have meaning across centuries, all the while screaming inside over how often I felt trapped in my body, my life, my home, sighing at the irony as I meticulously built a nest, and yet all I wanted to do was fly away. Then in a dusty old book, I stumbled upon my life path number. It said as a 347, my life journey was to trust and to find balance between earth and sky. Trust was the one thing I could never find peace with, and the fight between earth and air was something I'd felt forever. The book was speaking to me, calling to me, telling me it was okay to change. I started asking questions and making plans based on what-ifs. After a year of cautious steps and stilted hypothetical conversations, I leapt, each action and decision adding up until I was on my own. I became Trina one week and Mom the next. I hovered in this balance of beings, but knew that I still wasn't quite there. I was seeking a rhythm in the dance between domesticity and unfettered being, the yin of connecting with my daughters, the yang of connecting with myself. The beautiful balance fully realized the day I finally found the truth of yin-yang. All along, I'd been missing the point. Balance isn't half of this and half of that. Balance is the perfected interrelation of the inner and the outer. The darkness of yin envelops the lightness of yang in its core. The brightness of yang exists in perfect contrast to that black spot of yin that it centers itself around. True balance is embracing the darkness and the light, accepting that you must know both in order to live completely. There's an unspeakable magic in finding the peace and wholeness, in living the yin and yang of life. Okay, I'm going to end with this one is for the sluts, and it's for Audrey and Daisy, and my hope that federal court justice Robin Camp finally loses his job permanently. This poem is for all the sluts, young, old, bald, hairy, tall, short, skinny, curvy, loud, quiet, smart, ditzy sluts. Sluts who've been with 6, 20, 50, or 200 men and aren't afraid to say so because sex is a choice and a pleasure. Sex shouldn't be something we're shamed for. This poem is for all the sluts. Sluts who love sex, sluts who love to cuddle, sluts who love women, sluts who love men, sluts who come by the name unfairly, sluts who figure they already have the name, so they might as well have the sex too. But this poem is also for the virgin sluts, the girls who are sluts only in name. A scarlet S branded on their chest in high school, middle school, or elementary school. The 12-year-old slut, gifted the label through schoolyard callouts after daring to like the same boy as the queen bee. The 14-year-old slut who was interested in hooking up with the football star but said no when he tried to convince her to get to know the team. The 16-year-old slut who was drunk at a party, flirted suggestively and made out with a boy or two, then passed out. When she woke sore, she was slut. Justice for that night would not be sought, and thus never met. This poem is for the sluts like them who have had their lives stolen so that the perpetrator would not get punished. She wasn't assaulted, she's a slut. His reputation will be fine, but she may never recover. This poem is for the sluts who have cut themselves, the sluts who died by suicide, the sluts who have survived, the sluts who found a way to reclaim their power, the sluts who never lost theirs. This poem is for the sluts.
Welcome, Trina. How are you doing?
I'm still nervous, but I'm okay. Thank you.
I really admire your work. I really like your poetry.
Thank you.
I have some questions to ask you.
Okay, I'll do my best to answer them.
So what inspires you to write?
Okay, I was hoping not to get emotional, but when it comes to inspiration, it's my children. And my oldest daughter, Anna, has special needs. So when we had her in 2005, our entire lives changed, and just trajectories and our knowledge of the world and everything else. And I've really learned to appreciate that not everyone can achieve what we would want them to achieve. And I took it upon myself basically to start doing things that she might not have the opportunity to, and to try and do them on my own in case she didn't get that chance, so at least one of us did. And then we had a second daughter, and so then it was all about making sure that since she didn't have any challenges, that I wanted her to have a role model so that she was always going to do her best. And so I'm always inspired by my oldest daughter and her tremendous empathy for people in the world despite her challenges, and my youngest has this vitality for life that's pretty remarkable. So
Well, it sounds like you're a lot like that too, that you have that passion for life and empathy. Just like with the poetry that you write, it sounds like you embody that a lot from my perspective. When did you first start writing?
I wrote a lot when I was a little girl, and I still actually have my first sort of winning piece from when I was in grade 4. It was called The Incredible Abominable Snowman. And then when I graduated, I stopped writing, and I was teaching, and started writing poetry again when I had my grade 9 students do a slam poetry unit. And so my teaching philosophy has always been I will never ask the students to do something that I won't myself do. Right. And so I attempted my first poem that would be able to be in a slam, and then I challenged my very shy self to perform it in front of the students. And so that's kind of how it all started, and as part of the practice I started coming out to the IWC. And I think the very first time I read Bronwyn Wallace poem, because I wasn't ready to share anything by myself, and then eventually kind of worked myself up. So
See, I never knew that about you. I didn't know that you were shy.
Oh God, horribly.
Because your poetry is like very confident and everything.
Stage persona, yay!
So I have another question for you. If you could pick any animal to best describe your personality, what would you pick and why?
This is so I'm gonna say a dog, but like a really loyal, like a lab or something, where they have a playful side, but they can be really calm and chill, and they kind of have both of those sides. So they'll go climb a mountain with you, and then they'll loaf on the couch and watch Netflix with you for hours on end, and just always be there for you, I guess.
Do you have a dog?
I haven't had a dog in a while, but I'm about to again, so I'm excited.
Are you going to get a lab?
I think a husky.
A husky?
Yeah.
Oh, they're cute too. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
An easy one. I don't even have to think. I have always wanted to be able to fly on my own, and I love when you have those flying dreams, and you wake up and you're just like, yes, today's gonna be awesome because I flew all night long. And so the idea that I could just kind of fly away or fly anywhere I want to go would just be amazing.
Where would you go if you could fly anywhere?
Right now, I would go somewhere warm without snow.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But normally, I would pick somewhere that I've never been. You know, I'd go to the Great Wall of China, for example. I'd love to be able to just hang out there and see how far I could go on it.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. Another question I have for you is, what changes would you like to see in the world? What would be one big thing that you'd want to to teach the future generation of change in the world?
The kindness was what everything revolved around. I think that's kind of the bottom line. If people were kinder, if they were more thoughtful and impactful in what they were saying, what they're thinking, what they're putting out there in terms of their energy, if everything was rooted in kindness, I think it would change a lot.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I also want to know where we can find more of your work.
You can't. I guess come out to one of the IWC readings, because I try to go whenever I don't have my kids, and there might be some more stuff coming sometime, I don't know.
Will you be applying for any more slams in the future
Probably.
to compete? No, I hope you do. Your work's really good.
Thank
I
you.
really like it.
Thanks.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out. It's been a pleasure seeing you perform tonight. And you can find more about us on the inspiredwordcafe.com and on Facebook and our Shaw Show. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Did I say it right that time?